Giving me the opportunity to be me, essentially, play freely. I've always played the right way. It was never like a me type of play style. It's such a long time also. It's a 2-minute timeout. The coach is probably only talking for 35 seconds or so.
In 2022, Jordan Poole officially made it to the top. The two guard known for his scoring gave the Golden State Warriors much needed offense off of the bench on their way to winning the NBA Finals. It was a celebratory moment not just for Jordan Poole, but also the Golden State Warriors, who had successfully extended their modern dynasty by leveraging two timelines of youth and experience. But even after rewarding him with a huge new contract, one punch had changed the trajectory of Golden State's season and Jordan Poole's career. Jordan Poole had a big year scoring, but the Golden State Warriors still decided to move on even before his new contract kicked in. A fresh start in Washington could have been what Jordan Poole needed to forge his own identity without letting one low moment define him. Instead, his negative tendencies have only been amplified as he toils in the equivalent of basketball Siberia, and his contract will only continue to make things much worse. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. We're on the grind at 900,000 subscribers and we're so close. Now that we get all that out of the way, do the intro. We made $1,100 off of a $20 entry on Prize Picks. And it wasn't just me, it was everyone that followed these picks on my Instagram story. And the best feeling is the amount of people that made money as a result of this. I mean, bam, 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 bam! My DMs were flooded, so the best part for me was seeing you guys make money as well. But we're not done yet. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, use my promo code microphone to double your deposit up until $100 on Prize Picks. And I give away my picks on a daily basis for free on my Instagram story and now my Snapchat story. We're having so much fun doing this. I'm so happy that I made you guys some money. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Golden State Warriors drafted Jordan Poole out of Michigan with the 28th overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft. Poole was entering an organization dealing with dramatic change. The team had just lost two of their best players to devastating injuries during the 2019 NBA Finals loss to the Toronto Raptors. Kevin Durant went down with an Achilles injury in Game 5, while Klay Thompson tore his ACL in Game 6. On top of that, Durant would end up leaving the Bay for Brooklyn, while Klay Thompson was lost for the 2019 to 2020 season, and eventually it would be the 2020 to 2021 season as well. As a result, the Warriors ended up giving Poole an unusually long look during a lost season. Steph Curry only played in 5 games after injuring his hand early in the season, and the Warriors finished with the league's worst record. Poole got plenty of run as a rookie, flashing his scoring ability with steady playing time, albeit very inefficiently. With Steph Curry back in the mix in his second season, Jordan Poole's playing time dipped a bit, but his scoring and efficiency improved noticeably. 11 games in the G League gave Golden State a peek into what he could look like in a higher volume role. After missing the playoffs in back-to-back seasons following 5 straight trips to the NBA Finals, the Warriors were counting on Jordan Poole to assume a bigger role in his third season. He played in all but 6 games while starting for most of the season. Golden State's most common starting lineup that season featured him next to Steph Curry in the backcourt, alongside Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney in the frontcourt. That lineup went 22-5 as the Warriors raced out to a fast start. Golden State improved to 30-9 on January 9th, 2022, the night that Klay Thompson made his long-awaited return to the court. But that required Jordan Poole to come off the bench, and as the season played out, it became clear how this affected his performance. Poole averaged almost 21 points per game as a starter that season, but his scoring plummeted to under 14 points per game off of the bench, while nearly all of his other stats decreased as well. Meanwhile, after a strong first half, Golden State struggled to acclimate Klay Thompson to the starting lineup as their record flattened. But Golden State recognized that Jordan Poole still played an important role and reinserted him into the starting lineup towards the end of the season alongside Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. He ended up edging Curry to lead the league in free throw percentage while having a breakout third season, averaging over 18 points and 4 assists. The Warriors went through some losing streaks down the stretch, but still entered the playoffs as the West's 3 seed. He started during their first round series and had big games early early as the Warriors easily took down the shorthanded Nuggets in 5 games. After that series, he came off of the bench for the rest of the playoffs, but still had big performances, including games 1 and 3 against Memphis, and scored in double digits in every game of the Western Conference Finals against Dallas. In the NBA Finals against Boston, Jordan Poole hit 5 threes in a huge Game 2 victory while hitting multiple threes and scoring in double digits in each of the series' final 3 games as the Warriors claimed their 4th title in 8 seasons. Poole averaged 17 points while nearly shooting 50, 40, and 90 during the playoffs. He knew that winning a championship after having the season he had at just 22 years old would lead to a massive playday, as he excitedly expressed with Andrew Wiggins during their locker room celebration.
Hey, you about to get a bag. You about to get a bag. No. You about to get a bag. We about to get a bag. We about to get a bag.
While that exchange foreshadowed a new contract, nobody could have predicted what would happen in the days leading up to it. Jordan Poole's dream season very quickly turned into a nightmare championship hangover in early October 2022 when The Athletic dropped a bombshell report that discussed a physical altercation at practice between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. The very next day, TMZ released a video that showed Draymond Green punching Jordan Poole. Less than 2 weeks later, the Golden State Warriors signed Jordan Poole to a 4-year, $140 million contract extension while the team was still dealing with the aftermath of the punch. That incident largely defined their season and set off a long year of beef between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, which we've covered extensively in previous videos. Jordan Poole was shuttled back and forth between the starting lineup and bench for much of the season, starting in about half of Golden State's games. Even when he played well, head coach Steve Kerr wouldn't commit to him as a permanent starter, refusing to start him over Klay Thompson. In late December, during a blowout loss to Brooklyn, Nets fans chanted something insane while Jordan Poole was at the free throw line.
God bless you. Draymond bless you.
In January, Jordan Poole took an ill-advised 3 in crunch time against Memphis that upset the normally calm Steph Curry so much that he threw his mouthpiece and got ejected. In a March game against the OKC Thunder, Jordan Poole didn't pass to a cutting Draymond Green, causing him to blatantly give up on the play. Still, Poole had some big moments, including a career-high 43 points in a win versus Toronto, and averaged a career-best 20.4 points and 4.5 assists per game while playing in all 82 games. Yeah, his shooting efficiency dipped a little bit with higher volume, but by all accounts, he had a career year despite all that surrounded him during the season. But in the playoffs, Jordan Poole's up and down play lost the ups and kept the downs. He averaged just 10.3 points with shooting numbers that look nothing like his regular season stats. The Warriors escaped Sacramento in a 7-game first-round series, but they couldn't hang with the Lakers in the next round. Poole's playoffs could be best summed up by his decision in Game 1 to fire away from 30 feet with the game in the balance as the Lakers won the game and eventually the series. It didn't take long for the Warriors to cut bait. Before free agency began, Mike Dunleavy committed to Jordan Poole by saying this.
Especially with his contract extension, plan to have him here for 4 more years at least.
But very shortly after, Golden State would trade Jordan Poole to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Chris Paul, who had just been acquired to make salaries match in the Bradley Beal trade, as well as future firsts and second-round picks. It's usually a red flag when a team gives a young player a massive extension, trades that player before the extension kicks in. Washington may have considered that before the move, but when you consider the fact that Washington really had nothing to lose by making this move, it was kind of a no-brainer. The Wizards were focused on accumulating draft picks and assets, and they finally embraced a long-avoided proper rebuild. Why not take a chance on a 24-year-old who had shown legit scoring ability and has proved it in the playoffs on a championship team? Plus, Jordan Poole could get all the shot attempts he could ever dream of now that he was out of Golden State, as he talked about during his introductory press conference. Poole was nearly salivating at the chance to run his own team.
As a shooter in this new role, how green is your green light? Like ultra?
As green as DC. As green as DC. I like it. I like it. Coaches have, given me the opportunity to be me, essentially, play freely. And I think that'll just be really exciting. Just because I've always played the right way. It was never like a me type of play style. It's whatever is the next right play. If somebody's open because I was able to draw 2, I'll get off the ball. You want to see other players succeed because you need everybody on your team in order to be successful. But just being able to go and play my game, be free, be able to call plays, be able to manipulate the game a little bit more, just be more hands-on. It'll be exciting.
This could have been Jordan Poole's chance to actualize some of his early all-star potential as a building block for a young asset-laden team. Instead, Poole and the Wizards have been embarrassingly terrible, owning the league's third worst record. We already covered many of his in-season shenanigans, including not paying attention during a timeout, and then not holding himself accountable for not paying attention during the timeout.
Yeah, I saw it, and I was looking like, how is somebody supposed to give that commentary from the middle of the stands? I mean, obviously I can't do anything about it. Sometimes I sit down, sometimes I don't. Coaches they do their huddle earlier on, kind of figure out what they want to do. It's such a long time also, like it's a 2-minute timeout. The coach is probably only talking for 35 seconds or so. I mean, but I saw the play, I was locked in on the play, I went back just to ask the question, just to make sure. Just continue to be vocal, communicate with my teammates. It's a very normal timeout. Honestly, it wasn't anything that was different.
But then there was this embarrassing layup attempt that got swatted by a rookie, his horrible shot clock blunder, and the fact that Washington now views him more as a trade chip as opposed to a franchise player. But that was a few months ago. And since then, it's only gotten worse. Jordan Poole somehow is averaging fewer shots than last year, but his efficiency from the field has plummeted. He owns the second worst effective field goal percentage in the league, the second worst win shares, the second worst offensive and defensive box plus minus, and the third worst overall box plus minus. He's provided a series of more embarrassing sequences like these possessions against the Knicks during an especially terrible 5-game stretch that helped Jordan Poole into his own echelon as he owns the league's worst plus minus by a significant margin, with only his teammate Kyle Kuzma in the same stratosphere. In addition to being just flat out bad, Jordan Poole also recently posted this odd captionless Instagram post of him playing against the Golden State Warriors despite the fact that Washington played them more than 2 weeks prior. And then there's his contract, which already looks like one of the league's worst. After earning a little over $10 million over the course of 4 seasons in Golden State, he's making $27 million in this season alone. That number increases to 29.6, 31.8, and $34 million during each of the next 3 seasons, making it even more difficult to trade him. Even with the NBA salary cap expected to increase, that's a radioactive contract considering the player on that deal. To give you an idea of how terrible this contract is, Jalen Brunson is currently on a 4-year, $104 million contract. He was signed to this contract a few months before Jordan Poole was signed to his contract, which I guess is more of a testament to the greatness of Leon Rose, who has been absolutely on fire lately with the decisions he's been making. And let us know if you'd like us to make a video on the rise of the New York Knicks next. I have to understand, when the Warriors gave Poole this contract, they thought he had the potential to be an all-star. Some believe that Poole could be an all-star as soon as this season, but that is not what the Wizards have gotten from their highest paid player. Right now, it looks like the best way for Washington to get out of this deal is to let it ride as they tank during the season while hoping and praying that someone bites into the offseason with 3 years left. There have been irrational confidence players in the NBA before, guys who think that they're the man who can carry offenses for stretches, but also make ill-advised decisions because they think they're way better than they are. Players like J.R. Smith or Dion Waiters are prime examples, but none of them have carried a contract like the one Poole currently burdens the Wizards with. Jordan Poole is a talented player, but he hasn't shown himself to be a good player. Even with the red carpet rolled out for him in Washington, the Wizards are not competing for a championship this season, but this is still an important season for their rebuild. If Poole were to turn into an all-star, he's young enough that they could build around him or trade him. Instead, he's gone in the opposite direction, and now they're stuck with an irrationally confident player on a bloated contract who may have already seen his best years come and go. Let me know in the comment section down below, how did the Washington Wizards handle this Jordan Poole problem? How much of this is Jordan Poole's fault as opposed to him just being a victim of a bad situation in Golden State? Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.